بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن خير الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. All praise and thanks are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We seek His assistance, His guidance, and forgiveness. And we take refuge with Him from the evil within our souls and from the consequence of our misdeeds. Whoever Allah gives guidance to, none can mislead, and whoever misleads, none can guide. I testify there's nothing and no one worthy of worship besides Allah alone. He has no partners. And I testify that Muhammad, the son of Abdullah, peace and blessings be upon him, is a servant and messenger. We ask Allah to grant him peace and to extend him our salutations on this special day, just as we ask him to grant peace to his family members, his companions, and everyone who follows him in goodness and practices goodwill into the meeting and the reckoning of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Islam is a religion of both worship and devotion to the Creator and service to humanity. It's deen, ibadah, wal khidmah. It is a religion of worship, but also a religion of service. While the worship aspect, when it comes to rituals and our daily rituals, at times may turn out to be very easy, it is oftentimes those aspects to service to humanity which become to be more challenging, especially if we have abandoned that particular aspect of our religion, which is the service to humanity. And when we abandon humanity, we abandon ourselves. In the same way that if one takes a life, it is as if you have taken the life of all humanity. If you save one life, it is as if you have saved all of humanity. And what comes with both worship and service at times are many anxieties. And we know that this is a very anxiety-filled time for many people, out of fear for many people. But I also think that compared to perhaps the first 2 weeks of the new presidency, that we're starting to become a little bit accustomed to things. And so, alhamdulillah, as time goes by, things become a little bit more normal. But we should remain vigilant and not allow ourselves to fall into a state of complacency. So when we find ourselves challenged and we find ourselves at times overcome by anxiety, especially if we're spending a lot of time watching the news, if we're constantly watching to see what the latest results may be for new litigation against any of the president's executive orders, and we're spending too much time observing the news, which oftentimes is unhealthy. Even before 2017, to watch the news, most of it wasn't very inspiring. If we spend too much time for that and then we forget about the other reality, which is that this life is not forever, and we're not intended to be here forever. And then most importantly, this is not our home. That this place is not our home. That our home is al-Jannah. Our home is al-Jannah. And this is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He cast our mother and father out of and placed them on this earth, which they refer to as Darul Buts, the abode of misery. This is the way that they saw it, especially because they had already seen what Na'ma, what bliss looked like. From Darul Na'ma ila Darul Buts, from the abode of bliss to the abode of misery. And but that is our home, and we have to remind ourselves of that. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He reminds us, saying, بَعْدَ أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ إِنَّ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا رَبُّنَا اللَّهُ ثُمَّ اسْتَقَامُوا فَلَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. Those who say, our Lord is God, our Lord is Allah, and then they are upright. Upon them there should be no fear, nor shall they grieve. وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. And in another verse, in Surah Fussilat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا رَبُّنَا اللَّهُ ثُمَّ اسْتَقَامُوا تَتَنَزَّلُ عَلَيْهِمُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ أَلَّا تَخَافُوا وَأَلَّا تَحْزَنُوا. Those who say that they believe their Lord is Allah, and then they are upright, the angels, they descend upon them, saying to them, أَلَّا تَخَافُوا وَلَا تَحْزَنُوا. Have no fear, nor be sad. وَأَبْشِرُوا بِالْجَنَّةِ الَّتِي كُنْتُمْ تُوعَدُونَ. And take good tidings of the garden, of the paradise, which you have been promised. نَحْنُ أَوْلِيَاؤُكُمْ فِي الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. We are your allies. We, the angels, we are your allies. We are your friends in this world, the lower life, وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ, and in the hereafter. وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا مَا تَشْتَهِي أَنفُسُكُمْ. And there, in the hereafter, you will get whatever your souls have an appetite for. وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا مَا تَدَّعُونَ. And therein, you will get whatever you demand. نُزُلًا مِّن غَفُورٍ رَحِيمٍ. A good treatment, a form of hospitality given to you from a forgiving Lord. That is our home, Jannah. But this verse talks about how we will have whatever our souls have an appetite for. And what we need to understand about this is that creation is not this one. That creation is not this one. While in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He inspires us and motivates us to seek Jannah based upon things that we're familiar with. مثل الجنة التي وعد المتقون فيها أنهار من ماء غير آسن. The similitude of paradise that the righteous have been promised. In there you will find أنهار من ماء غير آسن, rivers of water which never spoil. وأنهار من لبن لم يتغير طعمه, and rivers of milk whose taste never changed. وَأَنْهَارٌ مِّنْ خَمْرٍ لَذَّةٍ لِلشَّارِبِينَ, and rivers of wine, which is delicious and delightful to those who drink it. وَأَنْهَارٌ مِّنْ عَسَلٍ مُصَفَّى, and rivers of honey, of pure honey. وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا مِنْ كُلِّ الثَّمَرَاتِ وَمَغْفِرَةٌ مِّن رَبِّكُمْ, and you will have therein of all types of fruits. All types of fruits. And most importantly, forgiveness from your Lord. Forgiveness from your Lord. So Allah, He attracts us, He calls us, He beckons us towards Jannah through reminding us of things that we have familiarity with. But as Abdullah Bin Abbas anhuma is reported to have said, he said, لَيْسَ فِي الدُّنْيَا مِنَ الْجَنَّةِ شَيْءٌ إِلَّا الْأَسْمَاءِ. That there is nothing in this world from that world, nothing from this world that is from that world other than names. That is to say that they're not the same. As the Hadith Qudsi goes, أَعْدَدْتُ لِعِبَادِيَ الصَّالِحِينَ مَا لَا عَيْنٌ رَأَتْ وَلَا أُذُنٌ سَمِعَتْ وَلَا خَطَرَ عَلَى قَلْبِ بَشَرٍ. I have prepared for my righteous servants what no eye has seen, nor any ear has heard, nor has any heart or any mind thought of. It's not the same. It's not the same. And so when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَكُمْ فِيهَا مَا تَشْتَهِي أَنفُسُكُمْ, therein you will have whatever your souls have an appetite for. He's talking about what your souls will have an appetite for when you're there, and when you have a different form, when you have a different type of creation, right? Just as in this world that we struggle with our lower appetites, and we try to balance them or master them with our higher appetites. We try to do that, but in the hereafter is something different. What we value in this world is not the same thing we will value when we die. It's not the same thing. We value goods, material, food. We value gratification of all types. We value wealth. We value so much, so many things, good well-being, security, safety, all those things we value in this world. In the hereafter, when we die, we'll find the only thing of value from this world that we can take with us are our good deeds. Are our good deeds. That's the only thing you're going to have an interest in having once you die. And this is exactly why when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He speaks of the people when they die, and the people, especially once they're in the state of the barzakh, فَيَقُولُ رَبِّ ارْجِعُونَ, that what would a person say? He would say, oh my Lord, send me back. لَعَلِّي أَعْمَلُ صَالِحًا فِي مَا تَرَكْتُ. Maybe I will do some goodness in what I have left behind. كَلَّا, by no means, it will be said. By no means. إِنَّهَا هِيَ كَلِمَةٌ هُوَ قَائِلُهَا. It is nothing but a word that he is pronouncing, or nothing but a word that he is saying. He's not even telling the truth. But that is the only thing that will mean anything once we die. And so, in the light of everything that's happening, we have to ask ourselves, how much time, or how have I taken advantage of my time? With each week that goes by, the Prophet ﷺ has given us so many different avenues to pursue good. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us so many avenues to pursue good. How many days during each week have we fasted? How much charity have we given? How many people's faces have we smiled in? How have we treated our family? How have we treated our neighbors? Right? What sort of goodwill have we shown? How often are we doing the things lillah, not for political purposes, not just simply because it's the new trend in town that, alhamdulillah, we're talking about where we got to do interfaith dialogue, right? We got to make sure that the neighbors know me. Are you doing that? Alhamdulillah, it's good to start it. We know it's difficult to become completely sincere when we start to do good things at first. But we have to reach a point where things are just second nature. How many of us are doing these things because they're second nature, or trying to make these things second nature? Do we truly care and empathize with the plight of other people? We have to think about that, because regardless of who's the president, regardless of who the king is, regardless of who's in charge and what party is in charge, that ultimately we are going to return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we have to decide, we may decide now in this world, which party we actually belong to. Because it's not the Democratic Party, it's not the Republican Party, the Green Party, the Independent Party. It's not going to matter. All is going to matter on that day, or there are going to only be two parties on that day. Hezbollah or Hezbollah Shaitan. The party of God and the party of Satan. Which party do we belong to? Which party do we belong to? We have to make that choice. So it's a religion of worship, but it's a religion of service as well. And we have to keep the balance. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in the famous hadith, he says, "Kun fi dunya ka'annaka gharib wa 'abiru sabil." Be in this world as if you are a stranger or one who is crossing a path. Be in this world as if you are a stranger or one who's crossing a path, a wayfarer. What's interesting about this is that a stranger, when he comes to town, The stranger is a bit uneasy about his interactions because he doesn't know anyone. And for that reason, he tries to avoid trouble. He doesn't try to argue with people, tries not to offend people because he might need them, because nobody knows who he is. A traveler, same thing. A traveler, when he goes his way and is seeking his destination or her destination, they take with them what they need to reach their destination only. They don't bring with them more than what is necessary. And brothers and sisters, it's not something that you don't already know. Well, hopefully you would know. But the more attachments we have to this world, that in itself, or we say, let's put this a different way, the degree of anxiety that we have in this world is commensurate with the number of attachments that we have. The more our attachments, the more anxiety we'll experience. The more our attachment and the more anxieties we will experience. And I believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would not allow you, as long as you call yourself a Muslim, or me, as long as I call myself a Muslim, to make this your Jannah. He would not allow it. He would not allow it. He will allow you to make this your Jannah once you give up commitment to Islam. He will, فَلَمَّا نَسُوا مَا ذُكِرُوا بِهِ فَتَحْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ أَبْوَابَ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ. As the Quran says, and once they forgot what they were reminded of, we open up to them the doors to everything. Right? At that moment, Allah will allow this to be your Jannah. And this is the only Jannah that you will have. How many people are rich and they're famous and they're miserable people? They have all of these things. They have fame, they have fortune, they're miserable things. Or people that they're rich and they're sick. Some people are healthy, many of us healthy, and we're poor. You know, but it's rare that you will find an individual who is actually given this dunya and they're free of any type of anxiety. If they have both health and fortune, then they have to worry about people trying to take their fortunes away from them. Right? That this dunya is not a place, it's not darul qarar, it's not the abode of stability or settledness. It is not this abode. That's Jannah. That's Jannah. So be in this world as if you are a stranger or one crossing a path. And you'll find that once you are able to remove your attachments to things, then it becomes easier for you to deal with the tribulations that come. You won't live a life free of tribulation, free of tests and trial, but you will be able to deal with them better. Continue to remind yourself that this world is not forever, and I will not be here forever. Even if the world lives beyond me, that I will not be here forever. And it's all about being prepared for that day. And then lastly, in the context of being a stranger, the Prophet ﷺ also said, بدأ الإسلام غريبا فسيعود غريبا كما بدأ فطوبى للغرباء. Islam started strange, and it will return to being strange. So, good news or blessedness to the strangers. Husna lahum, goodness to the strangers. That it started strange is going to end strange. That Islam started in Mecca, as we know. It started in a city of idolatry, a city where people, they placed pride in their lineage, in their forefathers, who they were. And they boasted and bragged about their fathers' achievements, and particularly their fathers. Right? And the tribal alliances were built upon those ideas of tribalism. And then a prophet, he came to Mecca, sallallahu alaihi wa sallam. And he told them, you know what? No, there are not many gods, there's only one. And at first he was being followed by only the poor and the non-Arab as well. Because the Prophet ﷺ, he attracted former slaves, Zayd ibn Haritha, right? young little boy, Ali ibn Abi Talib. Some say 9 years old, some say 13, some say he was 15 when he accepted Islam. There's a khilaf, disagreement about it. But he's a very young boy. And so Ali ibn Abi Talib, Zayd ibn Haritha, that his wife, she's a woman. Who really cares? For the Arabs, who really cares that this woman follows him? You know, Bilal ibn Rabah and his brother Khalid and his sister Ufaira, they follow the Prophet. Sumayya bin Khuyyat, right? And her husband, Yasir, so he's being followed by these people. But the Prophet, most importantly, what he did was that he tried to alter the basis for determining importance and a value. That he said, no, it is not based upon this idea of blood tie. It's not based upon tribalism. Rather, this is an ummah whose people are given value on the basis of their taqwa, of their righteousness. That he changed ukhuwah of blood, brotherhood based upon blood, to brotherhood based upon iman. Right? And he caused a revolution. Islam was strange. And there were very few people following it then, as we know. And many people were afraid to follow it because of the challenges that they had. But then, we saw what happened historically. Islam became, today, 1.6, 1.7 billion Muslims. But when we look at this hadith in different narrations, in one narration, Sahaba asked the Prophet, ﷺ, Man al-ghuraba, who are the strangers? In one narration, he said, الَّذِينَ يَصْلِحُونَ إِذَا فَسَدَ النَّاسِ. It is those people who remain upright when the people go wrong, when the people become corrupt. In another narration, he says, الَّذِينَ يُصْلِحُونَ مَا أَفْسَدَ النَّاسُ مِنْ سُنَّتِي. Those who rectify, who set back in order those things that the people have corrupted from my sunnah. And in another narration, النُّزَاعُ مِنَ الْقَبَائِلِ. Those who are taken away or extracted from the different tribes. That is to say, those people who break away from the tribes coming to give support to Islam and the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. Those are the ghuraba. In these particular times when we find a lot of fasad, a lot of people seeing good as bad and bad as good. Liars are truthful people and honest people are liars. Right? Trustees are betraying, and those who are traitors are giving trust. That is sort of a time we're living in, a demonic or dajjalic time where it's hard to distinguish true news from fake news, right? This is sort of time we're living in, right? And we need our iman. We also need to deepen our knowledge of Islam. But and beyond that, we need to understand the ways that people try to trick us and seduce us, the sort of tricks that they take. We need to study these things if we hope to overcome the onslaught of these sort of issues that come up. But at any rate, I'd like to just end with a couple of quotes. One quote is from Ali ibn Abi Talib, radiallahu anhu, and the others attributed to Isa bin Maryam, alayhi salam. Ali ibn Abi Talib is reported to have said, ارتحلت الدنيا مدبرة وارتحلت الآخرة مقبلة. This world is moving backwards. The other world is moving forward. That is to say, that is the direction we move into. We come closer to death than we are to life. وَلِكُلِّ وَاحِدَةٍ مِّنْهُمَا بَنُونَ. And each one of those worlds has its sons. It has its children. فَكُونُوا مِنْ أَبْنَاءِ الْآخِرَةِ. So be from the children of the hereafter. وَلَا تَكُونُوا مِنْ أَبْنَاءِ الدُّنْيَا. Don't be from the people, the sons of the dunya, of this world. فَإِنَّ الْيَوْمَ عَمَلٌ وَلَا حِسَابٌ. Because today, what we have is work and no reckoning. وَغَدًا حِسَابٌ بِلَا وَلَا عَمَلٌ. And tomorrow, we have reckoning with no work. Meaning you won't be able to do anything. You won't be able to come back to make up for what you have missed. And Isa bin Maryam is reported to have said, "Ad-dunya qantara." This world is a bridge. فَأْبُرُوهَا لَا تَعْمُرُوهَا. He says, so cross over it. Do not occupy it. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولإسرائيل المسلمين والمسلمات. Yes. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء سيد المرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحابته أجمعين. Just once again in closing, just wanted to remind everyone of this reality that duty to our Lord, and that has to be first, primary in our lives. If it's not primary in our lives and Islam is not prioritized, then we're going to be afflicted with many anxieties. And we will find ourselves falling behind in our commitments. We'll find ourselves being tested and filled with alarm. And we even find ourselves compromising our religion. And the most valuable thing that we have in such a time is our religion. Remember that the Dajjal is one eye, but he's blind in one of his eyes, and that eye is the right eye. That his eye that he can see with is a material eye, and we cannot allow materialism to get the best of us, right? And remove from us the idea that God is real and that the hereafter is real. Because there's two primary objectives that many of the people today living on this earth are attempting to do, is remove from us the belief in God and the belief in the hereafter. And if we don't believe in God, then life has no meaning. If we don't believe in the hereafter, then what's the point of justice really? There is no justice to look forward to either, right? And they're both connected. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to not allow our hearts to swerve after He's guided us. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us to lose our attachment to things that cause us harm, and help us to be attached to those things that bring us benefit, and help us to make good use of those things. Inna Allah wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم اللهم اغفر للمسلمين والمسلمات والمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات واغفر لنا اللهم معهم بفضلك وإحسانك يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم حبب إلينا الإيمان اللهم حبب إلينا الإيمان اللهم حبب إلينا الإيمان وزينه في قلوبنا وكره إلينا الكفر والفسوق والعصيان واجعلنا من الراشدين ربنا آت أنفسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها ومولاها ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا ربنا إننا نسألك الجنة وما يقرب إليها من قول وعمل ونعوذ بك من النار وما يقرب إليها من قول وعمل ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وقنا عذاب النار وقنا عذاب النار وصل اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه الأخيار وسلم تسليما كثيرا وسبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين وأقم الصلاة.